Indianapolis, where the Colts are off to another fast start. 3-0 on the season, hosting the 2-1 Denver Broncos. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms. You were here just a couple of years back. They met back-to-back years in the postseason, and Peyton just tore them apart in the first half of both games. What do you see happening here?
Well, the big thing here today, can the Denver Broncos just slow the game down? And how do you slow the game down against the Indianapolis Colts? You try to keep Peyton Manning off the field. So Denver's offense, can you stay on the field, have long drives? That's the best way to win.
Well, Denver will have the football first, and this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Adam Vinatieri about to kick it away to Dominic Hickson. They've won 10 straight here at home, the Colts. And it's Hickson returning it from the goal line. Wide open space to the 36. Javon Walker is inactive with a sore knee. So for the first time in a long time, Stokely will play on the outside. Marshall the other wide out, a big target with speed. But they're going with Henry, and a huge hole and a first down carry for Henry. 10-yard gain by Henry, and they'll go back to him again. And a quick scoop into Colts territory. Going with two tight ends, Nate Jackson and Daniel Graham, who shifts over to the left side. Henry for a third straight carry, and he gets to the edge. Gets to the edge and gets the first down to the 34. He got away from Marlon Jackson, who had stepped up, tried to tackle him for a loss.
Yeah, what speed. Denver's offense. They're coming out with breaking the huddle fast, using speed, and getting up there. And Travis Henry, he can attack the line of scrimmage fast, powerful. And Marlon Jackson, they said, okay, we're going to come up and stop the run. They bring the extra guy up. Well, just because you got somebody that's unblocked doesn't mean Travis Henry can't go around him.
That one goes for 15. 30 yards now carries on 3 carries for Henry, who gets it again, and another big hole. Another 15 yards picked up by Henry. He's handled it the first 4 snaps, and he'll get it another time. Dodges pressure at the line and steps up for another 3 yards right into the arms of Brackett and Morris.
Jim, you think the Denver Broncos are not going to come out and run? Look at this formation. Everybody except the wide receiver up at the line of scrimmage, couple tight ends, and it just says we are going to throw the football. I mean, run the football on first down. Look at the blocking and a tremendous hole for Travis Henry to the outside.
Henry with 47 yards rushing on this opening drive. First play without going to Henry, and the pass too steep for Brandon Marshall.
I think the Denver Broncos have the attention of this Indianapolis defense. They go, uh-oh, we got to get up there and stop the run. That's why Brandon Marshall wide open. Jay Cutler coming back home a little wild with that first fastball.
They bring in a third receiver. It's Glenn Martinez. Martinez just brought up yesterday as they waived Brian Clark. There he is. 3rd down and 7. Cutler looks left, now going right to the end zone for Marshall, and it's over his head. Just threw it away. Dwight Freeney was creating a little havoc back in Cutler's pocket.
Yeah, you got to get used to playing this Colts. The noise in this dome, and you know Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. Jay Cutler made a bad decision. Brandon Stokely was wide open for the first down, never looked at him.
Jason Elam out for a 35-yard field goal. Todd Sauerbrunn on the hold. And the Broncos come up with 3 on the opening drive of the game. Elam winning those first 2 games of the season for the Broncos at Buffalo and at home against Oakland. Field goals at the end, so an impressive start for Shanahan's bunch.
Yeah, let's go back, Jim. You got 2 receivers to the top, 1 receiver down here. Watch Brandon Stokely. This is probably where, absolutely where Jay Cutler should have gone with the football. And you know why I know, I'm not second guessing. because I saw Brandon Stokely throw his arms up like, I'm the guy you're supposed to throw it to. I'm wide open. Why didn't you?
Stokely, the former Colt, coming back here where he had so much success, was banged up last year, and here he is, mulled really retirement at the end of the season, but signed with the Broncos, and they remember being on the receiving end of some of Stokely's biggest performances, including a wild card performance that went for 2 touchdowns. Look at a little discussion here with Marshall.
Well, they're excited. Brandon Stokely, Mike Shanahan talked about Brandon Stokely last night and says he is almost uncoverable when he plays that slot receiver. You cannot play him man-to-man because he's too fast, too quick, and all you got to do is ask Peyton Manning that. Do a lot of touchdowns to him.
Sauerbrunn handles the kickoff. It's a low one, returnable from the 3. That's rushing. Send out Clark to the right, put Harrison in the slot to the left. Denver's had a hard time the last couple of weeks against the rush. A little play action freezing the defense, leaving Clark open. And Clark with a big gainer to the 47. So Foxworth comes in now in replacement of Lynch. Out of a 2 tight end formation, it's going to be a dive. Cutting back to the inside to the 50. Running behind Marvin Harrison, as well as Tony Hugo for 3 yards.
So many weapons on this Colts offense. How do you cover them all? And then when Dallas Clark splits out like a wide receiver, if it's a safety or a linebacker on him, Peyton Manning says you can't cover him.
I'd like to welcome those of you who saw the Raiders win on the road to even their record at 2-2. First series of the game for the Colts. Just their 3rd snap, and it's a pass from Manning to Adai, an opening drive field goal for the Broncos as they really ran behind Travis Henry down at the scoring position. Anthony Gonzalez, the rookie wideout from Ohio State, is in, but they're running it again. Adai, and driving toward the first down line. Ian Gold and DJ Williams trying to back him up.
You know, Jim, you talk about it. There it is, and almost an obvious running situation. And look at the Denver defense. It's back. It's going to say, go ahead, and if you want to run it, we think we might be able to stop you for not getting a first down, but we're not going to gamble that extra guy where you decide to play action fake, go down the field, and score a quick touchdown.
We're going to measure for the first. For those who just joined us, Phil, it was a pretty impressive start for Denver, taking the opening kick, and Travis Henry had almost 50 yards rushing, taking him down the field. Yeah,
Travis Henry, they were fast to the line of scrimmage. Travis Henry looks fast and powerful, and they look like they can block that defensive front of the Indianapolis Colts for the Denver Broncos offense.
Now, Indianapolis, the last 2 weeks, has taken its first possession down the field for a touchdown. It's significant because the Broncos defense all of last year and the first 3 games this year has not allowed an opening drive touchdown by the opponent. So 21 consecutive games is what it actually amounts to, and the Colts are threatening to break that. Pass, Adai, and he is smothered by DJ Williams for a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11 coming up.
Terrific coverage down the field. Even though they're a little beat up, John Lynch on the sideline, kind of the quarterback of the defense.
It's helping out, sending in signals. Without Lynch today and without Javon Walker.
You know what he's telling the safeties, don't you? Get back. Stay back.
Yeah.
Get deeper. Don't come up for play action fakes. Never.
2nd and 11. And it's again back to a dive. Juking inside the 40 for a pickup of 5. 3rd down, 3rd and about 6 coming up. Trey Bly on the hit.
I'm sorry, Jim. You know, when we were getting ready for this game, and I think as you watch the games on TV of the Colts and you see the films, I think we both came to the same conclusion. Joseph Adai just looks faster and quicker this year over last year. And I asked Tony Dungy, he goes, oh, absolutely. He's just playing now. He's not thinking all the time like he had to last year.
Last year as a rookie, though, he still led all rookie rushers, went over 1,000 yards. Peyton trying to draw him off. Almost got Jarvis Moss, the rookie first rounder from Florida, commit. Now, big heat on the quarterback. Pass away, and it's incomplete.
Wow, terrific job by Jarvis Moss. He moved. He made Peyton shuffle those feet a couple times, and it was just enough to make the football be not on time, not enough steam, and short of the target. What a move by 94 rookie Jarvis Moss.
Pass was intended for Dallas Clark. Ian Gold on the coverage. And now 22 consecutive games Denver has not allowed an opening drive touchdown. Hunter Smith will come in, boot it to Dominic Hickson, who stands inside the 10. Little half kick, fair catch, 13-yard line. Cutler coming back out with the 3-0 early lead. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms on site here at the RCA Dome. Welcome for those just joining us. Second series of the game for Denver. And Cutler fires it over to Marshall. Gets away from 2 defenders and tough takedown. Boy, first he actually was able to break free from Bob Sanders. You can't say that very often. Goes for 12 yards.
Yeah, it really is. It's an impressive play because Bob Sanders goes off the inside guy and comes out, finds Brandon Marshall, makes a big hit. But Brandon Marshall is such a big physical receiver, able to break the tackle and pick up a first down.
First Sanders, then Keaho. Broke them both. Hickson lined up on the right side as a receiver, but they're going with Henry. A big block by Hickson. Helped free Henry. He took out 2 Colt defenders. Dominic Hickson lined up in tight on the right-hand side, springs him for 13 yards.
Yeah, a lot of different formations by this Denver offense. Coming out, giving a lot of looks, and look at the angles. Eric Pierce gets Josh Thomas, just seals him inside, and there is a lot of room. Oh, nice block outside. If you're going to be a wide receiver, Hickson, for the Denver Broncos, you better be willing to block for the running game.
Travis Henry already has 4 carries that went for at least 10 yards. Here he goes again. And he is able to stay on balance. They actually say the knee did go down at the 44. So give him 6 instead of 10. Matt Lepsis this time with a good block, and Henry's hobbling.
Yeah, he goes down. The little contact. There is contact. Tries to keep his balance, but once that contact makes your knee hit the ground, you are down.
66 yards, and 38 of the 66 coming after initial contact. What a start. So it's Selden Young, rookie from Texas, and he picks up right with what Henry was doing. How about the way they're running the ball on the Colts?
They are getting in formations like it's, you know, down on the goal line. 3 tight ends in there, 2 running backs, no wide receivers. They are telling you it's going to be a run. And the Indianapolis defense is going to start having adjusting to the personnel and know who's in the game.
That one went for 9 yards.
This time you have 2 wide receivers in and 1 tight end.
They're averaging over 9 yards a carry, 74 yards rushing already in this one. Back to Young. Another impressive carry.
Well, I tell you what.
Goes for 6.
Being a running back and coming to Denver, it's heaven.
That's what Henry said.
It's unbelievable. I said, you know, the culture, the environment, there's one constant in this with this running game in Denver. That is Mike Shanahan. And I asked Travis Henry that last night, and he goes, yeah, Coach Shanahan is always telling me what to do, and I should do this, and I should be reading the safety, and never had a head coach talk to him so much on the other stops he's had in the NFL.
Henry's back out there after missing 2 plays. He played against him twice last year as a member of the Titans. Dangerous pass in the area of Stokely, and Hayden had his back turned defending. He had talked to Travis Henry about being a free agent, about teams out there that expressed interest. He didn't really concern himself too much as soon as he learned that Denver was interested in him.
Yeah, he did. I said, well, did you go there? And he wouldn't let you go. And he goes, basically. You know, he talked to Mike Shanahan, and they're pretty persuasive, and there was no decision to be made. He was going to be a Denver Bronco.
Selvin Young back in on a 3rd down and 4, as well as Glenn Martinez. The ball's in the arms of Young, racing down the left sideline, still on his feet inside the 20 and down at the 9-yard line.
That was very clever. I thought that Jay Cutler was going to be sacked. I said, oh my gosh, they can't block anybody up front. I didn't even see Selvin Young coming around on the reverse.
32 yards.
And watch some of the blocks as they go down the field. Daniel Graham, here's a block on the outside. The offensive lineman, Chris Myers, he pulls out. Then there's a peel back. Oh, what a block. Was that Hickson? No, it was Glenn Martinez, just brought from the practice squad.
Boy, Myers, some brilliant blocking as well. 1st and goal to go. To Henry. Cutting back and knocked back by Morris. 2 yards. There had been a lot of talk this week with Denver's ugly loss at home to Jacksonville last Sunday. A lot of people that had a rather defeatist attitude talking about this
Broncos,
game. Yeah,
yes.
and you know, Jay Cutler, what did he say to us last night? People, I think, have counted us out a little too quick. What he said was, we're just early, but the Broncos proving they're able to move the ball on Indianapolis. Ball's out. Henry fumbled.
White ball.
Freeney stripped it, and the Broncos keep it. That was Matt Lepsis diving in there.
Dwight Freeney, even though his sack totals were down last year, he has such big impacts on the game. I think it was Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney both on the ball carrier that time and knocked it loose.
And I think it was Mathis who actually got the hand in there. First contact by Freeney. Then Mathis setting up 3rd and goal. Cutler now looks middle, and he's got Marshall for the touchdown. He beats Antoine Bethea for the 7-yard hookup with Jay Cutler. Brandon Marshall.
It's all 5 receivers are out. That enables Jay Cutler to move just a little bit. How's that throw? Moving a little to his right and just whips it across. And Brandon Marshall, what a start to a season for him.
You know, down the field, they drive for a 2nd time. Cutler now his 9th start in all 9 games. He has at least 1 touchdown pass. That was a beauty back here in home in Indiana. Back here in Indiana's capital city, the Circle City of Indianapolis, where the Colts, who have won 10 straight home games, are down 10-0. Rushing. He's got an opening. Champ Bailey trying to fight off a block by Giordano, and a flag.
It's going to be a personal foul. Looked like a face mask as rushing was out of bounds.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team. As the player was out of bounds, thrown to the ground. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Tony Corrente, who was the referee at the Super Bowl, won by the Colts. There it is, called on Hickson. That'll give Manning a start near midfield. It sets up Indianapolis with its 2nd drive of the game, starting at the Denver 46. First mistake by the Broncos today, that personal foul. Utek and Clark, 2 tight ends. Play action, freeze in the defense. Looking left, a dive, pushed out by Williams. Gain of about 6.
Well, I'm just impressed. And you know, too, Jim, I got to start listening to the coaches more. because Mike Shanahan said to us last night, I know how we can do this. We've done it before here. You come in, control the ball, you run it, and you can tell by Coach Shanahan's attitude, he was still steaming over the game against Jacksonville last week, especially the run defense.
It's a die, and he's about a yard shy of the first. I think somewhere Bill Parcells is watching right now and said, I said that to Sims 25 years ago. Got to listen to your coaches more. Oh, Harrison now took a shot in the back.
On the outside, he's blocking for the run, and Joseph Adai and a Denver player both run into him.
Yeah, there was Harrison trying to do his job, holding on to a block. Timeout on the field. Back here at the RCA Dome, and again hit from behind, blindsided by his own player, and Williams rolling over him. It's 3rd and 1 with 5 defensive linemen in there for Denver. Luke Lawton as a fullback trying to lead the way here for a die, and it leads to a first down. Lawton with the block out in front of Ian Gold, and the die picks up the first, and Harrison pops right back into the lineup. Now Denver sitting down today, Amon Gordon and Sam Adams, who usually start at those defensive tackle positions. What was the reason behind that, Phil?
Well, Jim, it's faster players, and knowing that the Colts like to run wide when they run the football, that stretch play, so got faster defensive linemen in there.
First down. Peyton has not thrown to a wide receiver to this point, but does this time. How about Harrison? Gets shaken up and then comes right back out for an 8-yard catch. Gets tackled from behind. Get hit right in the back again. Champ Bailey defending. I think another issue might have been, like in the case of Sam Adams, it's just there's no huddle you go against. It's hard to run them in and out of off the field.
Oh, that has a lot to do with that. There is Sam Adams, and maybe too, Jim, it was not said to us, but just the fact that they did a terrible job against the run last week. Try some new people.
A die easily with the first down to about the 22 to close out the first quarter. 10-0 Broncos will return to Indianapolis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Broncos and Colts and the world champions blanked in the opening quarter, but they are on the move right now. Starting the second from the 22-yard line. Kenton Keith is the running back. On first down, pass all the way, and it's Reggie Wayne slicing through there for about 8 yards.
This is a play you see so many times. Inside receiver going up the field. Outside receiver, it could be Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark. Peyton Manning throws it underneath. They are the best in the league when it comes to throwing that type of play.
So Adai comes back out on 2nd down and 2. They give it to Adai. Still on his feet, and he is in for the touchdown. You know, the last 2 weeks, they had not had a rush that went for at least 12 yards. And Tom Moore challenged his offensive unit to try to make up for that in a hurry. This goes for 14 yards and a score.
Everybody is playing pass, so when they're doing that, you got to get some big runs up inside. And we heard it from Peyton Manning, of course, who's heard it from Tom Moore, that we got to start running it better.
They had said that 90% of the time they were playing against 2 deep safeties, and Tom Moore said, how come we can't get a rush for at least 12 yards? Well, they get one for a big one, popping it through there for 14 yards and the score. There's Tom Moore. Saw this morning talking about how this last week he went back to Rochester, Minnesota for his 50-year high school reunion.
Wow.
Must be fun going back as a Super Bowl champ. And the extra point is good. That's a die right in the same end zone where he scored the touchdown that sent him to the Super Bowl. putting him on the board for the first time today. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms back here in Indianapolis. That is Marvin Harrison being examined below the left knee. Hickson had a big run back to open the game. And able to keep the balance to return it to the 20. Cutler, they've moved it once for a field goal. The next time down the field for a touchdown. Out for the third time. From the MetLife Limp, Snoopy 1, you can see to the lower right of your screen where the Indianapolis Colts will be housed starting next year. Lucas Oil Stadium, just down the block from the RCA Dome. Views from the MetLife Limp, and Harrison up and still, getting the attention of some of the medical staff. But it's Denver ball at the 20.
Yeah, Denver just ran into 3 tight ends at the last second. Took the wide receivers out.
Tony Scheffler is one of those tight ends just coming in for the first time. And spin move by Henry. Picks up 6 yards. This Travis Henry, when you talked to Mike Shanahan last night, he talked about how he hasn't had anybody quite like Henry in Denver in some time. He compared his power to Mike Anderson, but said, you know, he's more elusive than Mike, and you could see it right there.
Oh, yeah, he's just quicker than Mike Anderson was, and Travis Henry is short, compact, and powerful, and he is the perfect type of running back for the Mike Shanahan system.
It's a 2nd and 4. And they fake it to Henry, and they hit it with Graham for the first down near the 40. Daniel Graham, 14-yarder.
Well, I knew sooner or later you keep running up in there, they're going to have to fake a run with one of these condensed formations, and Daniel Graham comes all the way across the formation from behind the line of scrimmage, and he's wide open. Watch him come all the way across. That's behind the line of scrimmage. Nobody can pick him up.
Daniel Graham, accustomed to these big matchups against Indianapolis all those years spent with the New England Patriots. And a timeout by Denver. Broncos in front, 10-7. And again, the Colts will be playing there next year, and the NCAA Final Four will be there in 2010. First down, Denver. And on the rollout, throwing across his body. What a pass it is. That's Nate Jackson hauling it in.
What was I saying during the timeout? They got to come out there in this 3 tight end look, and they got to throw the football because the Colts are attacking the line of scrimmage, and why not? It looks like run, but oh wait, you can't throw across your body across the field. You know why they say that, Jim? Because very few quarterbacks can do it, but Jay Cutler can. We've seen it in previous games. That was a terrific throw right on target to Nate Jackson.
So they try to do it, but they don't have the zip on it like you just saw with Cutler. That thing had some heat. Picks up 24 yards. They're moving for the 3rd time. And Henry. Cutler and company from the 33. 2nd down, 7. Henry off right tackle. Sets up 3rd and about 2, running behind Cecil Sapp. 3rd down here and 3. Back to Henry, and Henry has the first.
Well, I tell you, just a lot of different looks right now by the Denver Broncos. This time, Daniel Graham in the backfield. He's going to be the lead blocker. Tight end to the top of your screen, Nate Jackson. Oh, Daniel Graham goes in there, cannot even get a shoulder pad on Freddie Keaho, but it doesn't matter. He has to go underneath him. That's just enough to allow Travis Henry to pick up a first down.
Yes, the chains confirm it. So they're passing a little bit and running really effectively with Henry.
Well, what they're doing, Jim, they got some different formations that are allowing Travis Henry and the blockers to get tremendous angles along with this reverse to Selvin Young. So far it's the schemes and the angles that the Denver Bronco offensive players are getting against the defensive players.
Ground game. getting the call. This is exactly what you said before the game, Phil. Had to be the strategy for Denver. Keep Peyton Manning off the field by just running the ball with success.
You know, but you got to be careful, you know, because when Mike Tyson in his heyday, you'd go, well, if he doesn't hit me, I got a chance. You know, so it's easy to say, hard to do. But Mike Shanahan came in here a few years ago, remember the last game of the year, and dominated the play, and that's what he's hoping to get back to. He thinks he can do it with Travis Henry and Jay Cutler quarterback.
They have so far. 2nd down and 7. And that is Stokely picking up a 1st down. Kelvin Hayden defending, and he was able to kind of squirt out of the tackle and dive out of bounds.
Well, again, when you run it well, they're going to crowd it, and that means single coverage on the outside. And a lot of teams will do that. They go, well, go ahead. If you want to throw it to the sideline, you're welcome to it. Well, Denver is not afraid of it as they're controlling the clock. You see at the screen, and Jay Cutler can throw it to the sidelines with ease.
Remember last week they got completely beaten up in the time of possession category by Jacksonville. 1st down, and Henry stiff arm. And that stiff arm allowed him to get back to the line of scrimmage. That was Dwight Freeney. He put his hand in there and pushed him away. Actually may have picked up a yard or 2.
Yeah, but Dwight Freeney slowed it down. The pursuit is getting better by the Colts defense. And they're set up again for a play action rollout, a reverse, something of that nature. Of course, tougher to do that when you're near the goal line.
And again, 3rd possession. Drove it for a field goal, drove it for a touchdown, doing all of this without Javon Walker, who's out for the game with a knee, inactive today. 2nd down and 9. As the pass deflected and almost intercepted. That was Josh Thomas, who was able to bat it in the air.
Bat it in the air, and even if he gets it off, it's going nowhere. Watch the speed. It's the Nate Jackson this time coming underneath, where the last time we saw Daniel Graham do it early in the drive. Look at the Colt defense. They are reacting to it much quicker now.
Martinez, a 3rd receiver. It's 3rd and 9. Young, inside carry and down to the 4. Picked up 7, but it'll still be 4th and 2, and Elam is coming out. Selvin Young had that one rush that set up the touchdown. It was the longest run of the year allowed by the Colts defense. So Elam will try a chippy this time. He was good from 35 on the first series of the game. This one will be 22 yards. Mike Leach to snap it to Sauerbrunn. Elam is good, and he has just moved past Jan Stenerud on the all-time NFL scoring list into 8th position all-time, and it's 13-7 Denver.
It's Elam.
So Elam being stretched after a 2nd successful field goal in 2 attempts in this game. Sauerbrunn again handling the kickoffs. Rushing had a good return last time. Plus the personal foul really helped set up the touchdown drive for the Colts. Rushing with another big return. Gallops out to the 38. Peyton Manning drove him down behind Joseph Adai, and Adai got the last part of it for the touchdown. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, 2nd quarter here at the RCA Dome, and Peyton Manning and the Colts huddling without Marvin Harrison out there. Aaron Moorhead. Here's Aaron. Comes in for Harrison. They begin at the 39. Adai hopping around, creating openings on his own. Down to the 47 of Denver, plus Jeff Saturday, the center, helping clear him for 14 yards.
It's good blocking up front. some nice blocks. The Denver defensive lineman not getting away from the offensive lineman, but look at the moves and the quickness. And we said that, Jim, and even Tony Dungy said it. Joseph Adai is just a better physical runner because second year, a little experience. Looks like he's in NFL shape too as a running back. You know, in college, a lot of times athletes are a little too big. They think that's the thing to do when it's not.
It's Adai. Just gliding to the outside, was thinking about going inside, then he went around the Moorhead block for 7 yards. He came out of LSU, first rounder last year. Once Edgerrin James was no longer going to be the back here, Bill Polian and his staff scouted, found this guy who had actually come out of a hugely successful system down there at LSU, but also was a guy that not always carry the full load down there.
Well, system was somewhat similar to theirs. He knew how to block, could read defenses enough for a running back to protect the quarterback, and they are mildly surprised at how good he is. They knew he was good, but he's even better than they thought.
Bouncing off the pile and going down to the 36. Of course, last year he was splitting time here. He was the most prominent back, but Dominique Rhodes took a lot of the action as well. Rhodes now a Raider. And that's a first down by Adai, who has touched it 13 of the 17 snaps for the Colts.
That's what makes the Colts one of the reasons why they won the Super Bowl last year in the playoff run. We saw it during the season. If you say, okay, you're going to make us run it, we will. And Denver stand back on defense, allowing the offensive linemen to block the up front people.
Kenton Keith comes in for Adai, and it's Clark with Bailey knocking him down, but a gain of about 8.
Well, this is 2 for 2. It was Marvin Harrison underneath, and this time it's Dallas Clark underneath. And there's, not a word for the play, but I asked Peyton Manning on Friday. We were talking about a similar play to this, and I said, just what percentage did you hit it last year? And he wasn't quite sure. He knew it was somewhere between 87 and 90% of the time they complete the pass.
Keith. And that only gets about 2. He's third and short coming up. John Engelberger on the tackle.
You know how hard that is, Jim? 90%?
No, I could tell when Peyton said that. You were incredulous. Oh, that's actually enough for the first down. So Kenton Keith gets the job done.
I mean, what I'm saying is against air, if there was no defense there and it wasn't in the game, you might not hit 90%.
Yeah.
The guy would drop it or whatever, but they are. It's what they do. It is one of the earmarks of their offense.
It's to Wayne. Wayne gets away twice, and he's down at the 13. Dre Bly let him get away. Then Nate Webster. And we've got another Colt player down.
Does this play look familiar? Now all 3 receivers have got it.
It's been UTEC a little shaken up, but appears to be all right. Peyton now hitting 8 of his first 9. That last pass was Peyton's 5,000th career pass attempt. He's barring injury on his way to having every single NFL passing record, you got to think, once his career's over. Although, like talking about the Favre record, he started the day 140 yards back of him, had exactly 2/3 the total of Brett. So it's kind of hard to catch a guy.
Yeah, that's right.
When something that is still increasing.
That's what Peyton said. Well, I can't think about catching him. He just keeps adding on to it.
Yeah, like he did today. First down. Looking left, and that's wide of Clark. And the pressure was coming in from Dumerville and Moss. And maybe that was deflected too.
Yeah, it was. Elvis Dumerville, 5'11", and Mike Shanahan, you hear it every time you listen to a different game, how long his arms are. And he is a terrific athlete, and he's kind of putting his defensive line, his defense, he gives it a chance to go to the next level because he can sack the quarterback and he just can make impact plays, something Denver's defensive line has missed for years.
Right, Manning. Underneath they go, Keith, and he's down to the 8. I was talking about Manning and how many touchdown passes, and a touchdown pass, not yards, touchdowns, was 2 80 coming in. His average per game, about 2 touchdown passes per game in his career, highest in the history of the league. Now you see Anthony Gonzalez returns to the lineup. Hadai's been out for a while, but returns on 3rd down. 3rd and 6. Rolling, just before the pressure. Clark scoops it up. Touchdown. What a catch. And he wants it back. I tell you, they were coming in on Peyton Manning. Simeon Rice almost got there in time.
On the run, Dallas Clark down low, secures the catch. Oh my gosh, and he keeps his right hand
yes.
under it the whole time.
Just beautiful. Extra point for the lead. 14-13 Indianapolis. MetLife Blimp, Snoopy 1 with the aerial coverage of Indianapolis. The Super Bowl champions here at the RCA Dome, where they've won 10 straight. And they were down 10-0, but back-to-back touchdown drives. Dallas Clark, 3 catches, 33 yards and a touchdown. And we've got the Sprint halftime report coming up with JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower. All the latest scores and highlights, recap of the early games, all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Dallas Clark had 2 postseason games last year, over 100 yards. What a pair of hands. Hickson downs it.
Jim, here's the touchdown. Watch Dallas Clark inside as he takes off. And he breaks to the outside. There is no defender there. So it's a defense that was not conceived well enough to take care of the inside receiver of 3 guys as he breaks to the outside. Dallas Clark wide open, and a terrific catch from a Peyton Manning pass where Peyton was running to his right.
Clark got separation from Ian Gold. Now Denver from the 20. Stay with what's worked, and that is Travis Henry wrestled down after a 4-yard gain. Josh Thomas on top of him. A 2nd and 6. And Henry be about 2 yards shy of the first down. That's Rob Morris, who had missed the last couple of games with an abdominal strain. Came on strong in the playoffs last year for this Colts defense that really rallied at the right time. And they're trying to do that right now on a 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, Denver, they had it going on offense. They had some speed, they had rhythm, but the Colts have come out and scored 2 straight touchdowns. So you'd like to get this first down, and you'd like to end the first half with at least a field goal attempt and keeping Peyton Manning off the field.
Henry, and it's clogged, and it's denied. Keahu coming up along with Thomas, and we'll see Sauerbrunn punt for the first time.
Freddie Keahu. Tony Dungy says he is very physical against the run, really aggressive. His first year starting, and it's helped. Number 54 coming across the formation and just gets into the backfield. Maybe not as good in pass coverage as Cato June, but terrific against the run.
2-minute warning, and the Colts will be getting the football back, leading 14-13. Well, Denver had driven for scores on its first 3 possessions, but shut down 3 and out on this one. And Sauerbrunn, who was here for the AFC Championship game punting for New England back in January with his first boot, averaged 51 per punt in that title game. Kicks it to Rushing to the 27. I want to tell you a story about a special guest here today, the Colts' oldest fan, and she doesn't mind us saying that. That's Gertrude Schindel, the guest of the Colts and guest of Mayor Bart Peterson. She's 110 years old. She loves her Colts. She's here as part of an Indianapolis-based group that grants wishes to residents of retirement homes. Never too late.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Isn't that wonderful?
Good for her. She got to see him win the Super Bowl last year.
Now Peyton Manning back to the shotgun with 149. And Wayne sees that one slip through the hands. Dre Bly defending. Marvin Harrison, by the way, bruised knee is the report from the Colts. Very questionable whether he'll return. He already made his way to the Indianapolis locker room. And they have feasted on the last 2 minutes of the first half and at the end of games. Go back to a stretch with the postseason last year. Here's Gonzalez. Grabs it, cuts back to the middle. That was Jeff Choate trying to stop him right away. Made the nice fake and takes it for 18 yards. Manning is hit on the throw. That was Dumerville taking him to the turf. Boy, this kid Elvis is some kind of active, isn't he, on that defensive front?
He really is. And then
what's this move?
Yeah, it's awesome. Gonzalez, Anthony, he dropped a couple of footballs last week. They're looking to get rid of it quick, and Elvis Dumerville against Ryan Dean just gets right around him, hits Peyton Manning.
Second down 10. It's Moorhead pile driven back by Champ Bailey. Picks up 5. Bailey, you may have seen his action on special teams as well, making some plays on kick returns, doing it all. Man, who was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. Manning, that one wide of Gonzalez, and a flag down in the area of the quarterback. We just talked about Dumerville, who had 2 sack games each of the last 2 weeks.
There are offsetting fouls on the plays. Offside. Defense, number 97 lined up in the neutral zone. Holding. Offense, number 71. By rule, these penalties will offset. Replay, third down.
They still have all their timeouts, the Colts. And 1 minute and 2 to go from the 50.
Well, Coach Shanahan arguing about that call. Of course, he knows how big it is. They had to drive stop. They give Peyton Manning one more shot. Tough to stop him in 3rd and 5.
And knocked away. Gold this time was right with Dallas Clark. And they shut down the Colts.
Yeah, it's really good. The coverage has been good down the field. And these short passes, they're playing man-to-man coverage, and they're trying to go across the field because Jim Bates, the defensive coordinator, comes from the Miami Dolphins. That's how they used to play the Dolphins. Play the Colts. And that time, Dallas Clark well covered by Ian Gold.
That was a big stop by that Denver defense that had seen the Colts drive it down the field the last 2 trips. Hickson is the return man. Hunter Smith angling this one. Fair catch signal and made 15-yard line. 35-yard boot. We do have a flag. Trying to shrug off that last series after that last pass was intended for Dallas Clark.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 34. This penalty will be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well,
anything expected out of Denver here with 51 seconds?
Well, I think that penalty really affects what they're going to do. But the Colts do have 3 timeouts, so it's going to put a little pressure on them, but you've got to be very careful. You got to be happy. 14-13. You just don't want to make a mistake here that gives the Colts a chance to add on to their lead.
Again, they go with the 3 tight end formation. And Henry gets back there with the members of the secondary, specifically Marlon Jackson, and takes it out for 6 yards.
It's like Rob Morris is down on the field.
That puts Henry, by the way, over 100 yards in this first half. You know, the most yards rushing by a team in the first half of a game so far this season was by Tennessee against Jacksonville with 147 yards in the first half. Denver's already eclipsed that, 155 on the ground in the first half today.
And they're losing.
And they're losing.
They're losing. But we've done a lot of football games, and to see a team line up first down, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs, no wide receivers, that's unique. And I don't care how much you plan, that'll catch any defense by surprise. Now, as time has gone on, the Colts are reacting better to it, but this past one, the 3 tight ends, Travis Henry still got 7 yards.
I mentioned a couple of times how Morris had been out, had been hurt. They're looking at his left leg in this case. It had been a muscle strain in his abs the last 2 weeks. So Morris lining up to your left side. Well,
it just gave away
really
as soon as he was hit.
Did you see the Bronco who was blocking him? Daniel Graham immediately raised an arm and signaled to the Colts bench as soon as Morris hit the turf.
Well, of course he knew, because he went down so quick and so easy, and I'm sure there was some words that he heard that let him know that Rob Morris was hurt. Rob Morris, and then he's played well here so far. He's made a few tackles, Jim. He's eager. He's hung in there and had a kind of a tough career here in Indianapolis, but he's found a spot. And they miss him at linebacker too. When I was watching tapes and I watch their defense play, I know they'd be better off. Of course, they're going to be better off with him in there.
See if we see it with Daniel Graham, who's matched up against Morris. And before the play's even dead, I believe it was. There's Graham coming in on him.
Oh, I saw it. Now, that time I noticed that his left knee collapsed.
Now watch Graham. Watch Graham here. He's signaling over. You could see it just as it was in frame there. He immediately knew there was something wrong.
Well, I said his left knee. It's his right. No. It is his left.
It is his left.
That was the one I saw collapse when he got hit.
Well, they've had now Rob Morris carted off. They've been without Marvin Harrison now for the second quarter. Rocky Boyman is coming in for him. Now Marvin's injury happened on this play.
There we kept looking at his back, but you see how hard his knee
hit the
ground. I just noticed it.
Colts took a timeout, by the way, so they're down to 2. And Henry adds to his total. He now has the best single first half performance by a rusher in the league this year. It's 106 yards. It betters the Brian Westbrook performance of 102.
That's a big first down for the Denver Broncos there, Jim. And you could almost assure that if they didn't get that first down, the Indianapolis Colts are going to have at least a chance at kicking a field goal to add on to their lead.
We'll just let it go now. You know, we saw him last October, a game that had 6 lead changes between these two out in Denver. One in the end by a Vinatieri field goal. It's 14-13 at halftime, and you're watching the NFL on CBS. The Broncos and the Colts on CBS. Indianapolis will be receiving the second half kick. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms. And in that first half, Denver really ran the football effectively, but Manning brought him back from 10 down.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a couple ways to look at it. Is that Denver wanted to slow the game down? They did. They had time of possession. They ran it well. They're still losing 14-13. Peyton Manning scored 2 of the 4 times he was on the field. And so Denver goes into halftime in a tough situation here. They got to feel good about some of the way they played here in the first half.
And a reminder, this game's brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Sauerbrunn puts it on the tee. Sauerbrunn, who was part of the same recruiting class back at West Virginia as Mike Vanderjagt. Someone who had quite a career here in Indianapolis. He's rushing. And his knee is down at the 27. Just a 19-yard run back. You were talking during the half about how both teams really had limited number of possessions and drove down the field with good success.
Yeah, and look at the red zone. Denver in the red zone 3 times, 1 touchdown. So of course that's something they'd like to improve. And Indianapolis, 2 good drives, 2 touchdowns.
Marvin Harrison is not on the field. In fact, I have not seen him come back out from the locker room as we start the third quarter. That's Aaron Moorhead replacing him in a slot to the left. Clark wide to the right. Hopping to the right side, it's a dive. Gets past yet another defender, Nick Ferguson, before Ian Gold is able to make the tackle. But a 17-yard run and a beauty. Look at the way he creates freedom here.
Yeah, he does. It's just the defense. It just blocked down that time. Brian Fletcher just gets a terrific block and pushes the defensive lineman down inside. And Joseph Adai, when he cuts it back, nobody is there.
For Adai, that's his longest single run of the season. It goes for 17 yards. Now Manning gets the shoulder away from some of the pressure and zips it in for the completion to Fletcher, who just threw the big block you mentioned. That goes for 12. So they're saying on Rob Morris, strained knee, and he is out for the remainder of the game. Still hurry up offense. Adai, and he got tripped up on his own for no gain.
Well, Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, they want to run the football better. They've done that here today. They've had a big play, one for a touchdown. Denver on defense, they wanted to be patient. They have absolutely done that. I have not seen one blitz yet of this Denver defense.
2nd and 10. Manning to Fletcher again. And he's into the Denver secondary at the 24. Ferguson drops him, but it picks up 21.
Yeah, it's a little double move by Fletcher. Makes that quick move to the outside. Gets the linebacker, Ian Gold, looking back at the quarterback. And when you do that, the receiver changes direction, and he is wide open.
Indianapolis on the march, right out of the locker room and moving. That last one, the first play over 20 yards, and another big one, though. It's a dive, and great acceleration as Hugo and Lilja really blew open the left side. Goes for 12.
Couple things. Quick snap, and look at the blocking inside. Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, too, huh?
Hugo, you're right.
Lilja,
too.
First down at the 11.
Nobody touched him until he got to the safeties.
All big plays for the Colts, except for the one time where Adai got tripped up on his own. Give it back to Adai. Takes the first tackle to the 5, to the 1, and pushed back just shy of the goal line. DJ Williams able to hold him back along with Moss.
As you watch it, look at the blocks again. You go, and then Joseph Adai, the speed to get outside and able to make somebody miss and always get that extra couple yards.
First and goal, a foot away, and a sneak, and it's in. That's about as smooth and easy as it gets. That drive.
I think the word is easy. And Peyton Manning, why take a chance of handing it off when nobody is over the center or inside the gaps? Easy quarterback sneak for a touchdown.
Peyton had 4 rushing touchdowns last year. This is his first of this season. And Terry makes it an 8-point game. He had none in 2003, 4, and 5, but 5 now over the last 2 years. Colts open up an 8-point lead. 7 plays, 73 yards. Manning with a touchdown pass earlier. Now the sneak from a yard out. Let's see what Cutler and the Broncos do with their first series of the second half. Hickson. Oh, the Colts are covering the kicks today. They did see the opening return set up Denver and near the 40, but this time Tywan Hagler comes down to make the play. Only a 14-yard return. That's Henry in traffic out to about the 18. Rocky Boyman won the tackle, actually on the field, as Rob Morris again was injured in that first half. I know you're looking out there at the Colts defense, and Matt Giordano is out there, not Bob Sanders.
Yeah, I do not see Bob Sanders on the field. I'm looking for him on the sideline. Don't see him there either.
2nd down and 7. Intercepted. Marlon Jackson stepped right in front to make the pick. He's going for Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, Marlon Jackson didn't have to worry about the receiver going deep, so he plays it aggressive underneath. And last week, the Houston Texans threw about 4 of those in front of him. So you always know teams copy what another team does to you and has success. So I'm sure he was waiting for the slant pattern this week. Here it comes, and he gets the interception, and Brandon Marshall upset by it.
Boy, tossing his helmet. Kenton Keith takes a dive position on first down. Peyton's going to call timeout. Down clock was running out. Ready to strike again after the Cutler interception. Jay Cutler has thrown an interception now in 7 straight games. This is his 9th career start. Colts defense, by the way, including the playoff stretch of a year ago, has forced at least 1 turnover in 9 consecutive games. And the most recent one by Marlon Jackson, the man who sealed the victory in that historic comeback, the biggest comeback in championship game history in January, picking off Brady with seconds to go to lock down the win. He makes the interception on this one.
Yep, and I bet you Mike Shanahan is saying when you run that slant, never let the defender go underneath you.
And again, no Marvin Harrison sightings. He's been out since the end of the first quarter with a bruised knee. Play action. Manning looking end zone, looking for Moorhead. Jump ball and incomplete. Dre Bly was there with him. Do have a flag. Flags in the secondary on the other side of the field.
Illegal contact, defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Hold on, Nate Webster, who was called for some illegal takedowns back in his high school wrestling days down in Miami.
How about that story?
Yeah. He was disqualified. He came out of wrestling, or as he says, wrestling. The wrestling coach said, hey, I need you. So he comes out his senior year. He gets disqualified because he said he used some
WWF moves on him.
Yeah. He never lost again. Won the state championship.
He never wrestled. The coach asked him the day of the first match to come out. He lost, never lost again.
He got disqualified. He didn't count that as a loss. And that's Kenton Keith. To about the 15-14 maybe. Gain of about 4.
And just when you talk about Nate Webster too, I think he's done a good job on this defense for the Denver Broncos. But right now they're caught in between here. They're giving up run plays. Peyton Manning is getting time, and he is starting to look down the field. And when you don't pressure the quarterback in zone defense, receivers get open.
Adai returns and gets the handle up the middle. Inside the 10 and down to the 7. You know, last week, even in the loss, the Broncos defense in the red zone did a pretty good job. In fact, they only allowed Jacksonville to score touchdowns on 2 of 5 trips inside the 5.
Yeah, the problem is they're not playing Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's not that way today.
No, there's too many variables here. Jacksonville, they were going to line it up every down and run it. There are so many threats for the Colts, even with Marvin Harrison out.
Got a goal to go now. First down from the 7. And it's a dive. To about the 3.
Boy, a couple of, like you talked about early in the game. Marcus Thomas for the Denver Broncos, a rookie starting inside. What a tough way to start. Because that's where they're running right now. They're running right up the middle.
2nd and goal. Ian Gold has reapplied the helmet. Manning has spread him out with Wayne in a slot to the left. Peyton looking pass, looking Clark, looking for Clark. He has him in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
Yep. That's what he was checking to. I could tell he looked out to the outside, and Peyton Manning, what did he tell us on Friday? When we split Dallas Clark out, it is so tough to match up against him. The only people who can cover him are corners, and this time it's Ian Gold against Dallas Clark. Perfect throw by Peyton Manning.
Colts with 2 touchdowns in less than 3 minutes. This one coming off a turnover after the Marlon Jackson interception. (28-13) with the extra point. All set up by this. Getting frustrating for the Broncos because the Colts are on target to Clark again. Now, the Colts have gotten banged up in this game, but they've also gotten in rhythm offensively. 28-13, just inside 9 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Hickson loses the handle on the scoop up. He is stuck at the 20. Again, it's Hagler with a 2nd tackle on special teams. What happened on the touchdown, Phil?
Well, it's just Peyton Manning, top of your screen. Nobody out there but he, Dallas Clark, and Ian Gold, and they work on this so much. I saw it in practice on Friday, and we've said it many times that Peyton Manning says Tom Moore does a very good job of getting in formations, and they split Dallas Clark sometimes out the last second, and you send the wrong guy out there to cover him. Peyton Manning's going to check to play, and he's going to throw it to him.
For Manning, that's number 282 in the regular season, touchdown passes, plus 18 postseason, gives him 300 for his career. Cutler, under the gun, was trying to find Scheffler, but heavy influence by Robert Mathis in the backfield.
Yeah, it's now the Colts, the team, when they get rolling on both sides, and Jay Cutler has to get away from Robert Mathis. That makes the throw off target, and when they get to this point of the game, this is what they built this team for. Get ahead. Let the 2 outside guys, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, get after the quarterback.
2nd down, run by Henry into the secondary. It's Giordano tackling him. Again, Giordano on the field for Bob Sanders. Giordano, who had a pick opening night and ran it back for a touchdown. This Indianapolis team opened the season back on September 6th, and this is just their second home game of the year. He's a third-year player out of Cal.
Easy to run the ball now. Well, they've run it well today, but the Colts defense will play pass first, run second.
We told you Henry, who gets another carry, had the best first half of the season, but actually Tomlinson got a couple of late bursts out in San Diego to top his 100 yards, 106 yards. You can check out the new NFL.com, where you can view exclusive video highlights from all of today's games. It's only at NFL.com. Now it's important for Denver to somehow get back in sync like it was at the start of this game. Got a 2nd down and 10. Martinez back in as a receiver. Open. It's Graham. Graham double whammy by Boyman and Brackett. They're without Bolden today, Arizona. 3rd down and 2. Play action, wide open to Sapp. Easy first down. Scheffler with a block. And out of bounds goes Sapp near midfield.
Well, just a good play call that time. Colts, 3rd 2, trying to stop the run. Overcommit. Look, nobody on the backside of the defense. Dwight Freeney, everybody chasing what they think is the runner. And then the block downfield.
On Brackett.
Yeah, that's Scheffler. It's about 4 times we've seen a receiver peel back and just knock somebody down. And it's easy to do against this Colts defense because they run all out. Total abandon towards the football.
That picked up 10. And that's over to Graham. Bumped out by Hayden. Hayden, who had the interception return for the touchdown. The last score of the game in Super Bowl 41. And then in the offseason, of course, they had Nick Harper bolt to Tennessee and Jason David to New Orleans. So new corner starting Hayden and Jackson. Certainly a lot more physicality out there with that defense with those two, huh?
Well, that's right. That and Cato Jr. linebacker went to Tampa Bay. So you win the Super Bowl, you share it with friends, and a lot of them leave.
Henry trying to be patient, was hoping for something to clear, but Keaho comes up with the first hit. No gain.
It's how they have built this team here in Indianapolis. They're going to keep their offensive players. They're going to have a lot of movement with their defensive players. And
Travis Henry
down.
Yep. Struggling. Holding that right leg. We'll take a break here at the RCA Dome. And there you see Travis Henry able to walk to the sideline gingerly. 3rd down and short. 3rd and 3 from the gun. Cutler zips it, gets the first. And that's Daniel Graham bringing it in. And how about the injury? What did you see?
Well, there's a lot of things. His left knee hits the ground hard, but watch the right leg got caught at the last second, gets caught underneath him. Watch his right leg as he goes over. Oh, yes, there it was. You could see the bend, and he limped off the field, and it was his right knee or his right leg that he was limping on.
Selvin Young replaces him. Rookie free agent out of Texas. Going down the line and getting back to the line of scrimmage. It was Dwight Freeney, the first to get to him.
You know, Jim, I was talking about this Colts defense and how they're built. We talked about the guys they lost, and we had a little fun with Tony Dungy, and we said, yeah, they play for you. They have really good success. Then they go somewhere else and get a lot of money. And he laughed, and he goes, that's just the way it is.
It's kind of the way they have to do it because they've got so much money tied up in a handful of players.
Well, the offense, they're 2 good pass rushers. Bob Sanders, they just get young guys with a lot of speed. It's a simple defense. They teach them, and it works.
2nd and 10. Stepping away from the heat, going underneath to Marshall. And Boyman, sure-handed tackle at the 32. 3rd down coming up. We see Selvin Young in the backfield. Mike Bell is inactive today. Mike Bell had the big game last year out in Denver, 136 yards against the Colts and a couple of touchdowns. Although he's really had no success early in the season. But again, he's out. With Travis Henry on the sideline, just banged up a couple of plays ago. Stokely in a slot to the right. Has only one catch in his return to Indianapolis. So looking for him here. He leans for the first. Brandon Stokely. What is it Mike Shanahan told us? He said, I'm gonna have to joke around a little bit with Peyton about Brandon Stokely, seeing how good he is.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, heck, I thought you were a good quarterback all this time. Now I know.
It's the receivers.
It's the receivers.
Well, in football, it's always everything, but I think Peyton has a little more to do with it than most quarterbacks in this league.
Nice drive being put together by the Broncos. They go back to Young. Selvin Young inside the 20. Selvin Young breaking tackles to the 10. I'll tell you, he's able to wriggle out of a lot of these tackles. Matt Lepsis, Montre Holland both help lead the way for him. Yes. Sapp also.
Sapp, nice block. Oh boy, there's some terrific blocks up there. You're right, Matt Lepsis had one. And Selvin Young never really got it going at Texas the way a lot of people thought he would. Free agent, Mike Shanahan couldn't believe it. Got him in camp and goes, my gosh, he's a lot better than I thought.
Picked up,
he's getting playing time.
Yep, and picked up first down after 14 yards. And back to Young, and he's about 2 yards shy of the goal line, about a yard out from another first, this time behind Chris Myers. Another 9 yards.
All these years, you know, we say it so much. All the running backs that have gone to Denver and had success. And this year, Travis Henry off to a terrific start, trying to get well, but then Selvin Young, a free agent, comes in and he shows he can do it too.
3 tight ends. Young. There's a flag thrown from the back of the end zone. As Freeney and Giordano brought him down.
12 people on the field? I'm not sure.
Cutler signaling it's against Indy.
Yeah, there's 12. Matt Giordano just walking off.
Defense, too many men on the field. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. It will remain second down.
Just try to count them all. 2 at the top. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yep. I know, Jim, you didn't have very much faith in my counting ability.
Well, that with your telestration to count, you have to do that at the same time, huh? Well, we can take your socks and shoes off, I thought, for a moment there.
I like people to count along with me.
Okay, I'll do it next time. That was not an automatic first, by the way. They're a foot away from that. The second and a foot. Cutler, keep. And he's got the touchdown. Jay Cutler.
That is some big drive by the Denver Broncos.
There's his mom and dad right in the center there.
Right in the middle of the screen.
Coming up from Santa Claus, Indiana.
But it basically was the game. You got to go down and get a touchdown to stay in this game with this high scoring offense.
Well, he's not unaccustomed. Yeah, look at him celebrating. It's his first rushing touchdown since September the 10th, 2005 for Vanderbilt against Arkansas. That's the last time he rushed for one. It's not the only time he scored a touchdown here. He scored a touchdown to win a high school championship. Jay Cutler hit 6 passes on that drive and then rushed for a touchdown, saying, hey, if Peyton Manning can do it today, I can too. Sauerbrunn drives it to the corner and stays in play. Kenton Keith off the one hop. Pretty good tackle made right there. That was Cargile with the tackle. Jay Cutler in high school. This is his last high school game for Heritage Hills High School. And watch this. It's coming back to him, number 6. This is an overtime for the state championship, and that's Cutler scoring the winner as they won the title. There he is with the medal around his neck. And there's one thing that's most impressive of all, though. That last thing about Cutler.
19 tackles.
19 tackles.
Well, you know where he was tough in high school, too.
Leading Heritage Hills past Zionsville. Cole Siegfried with a beautiful pass back to him. Got a lot of friends and family, about 40 in all, coming up the 2.5 hours from Santa Claus to be here today to watch him. Second down, 6. A little bobble, but the catch made by Wayne right at the first down yardage. Now Wayne has feasted on Denver in the past, including in some wild card action, including last year out in Denver. He scorched them for 3 touchdowns. Coming off his first Pro Bowl season a year ago.
I think you understand why the Denver Broncos, all they said about their defense, patience, a lot of patience, and they still have not taken a chance yet. And Peyton Manning, he knows it, being very careful with the football, just like that last throw to Reggie Wayne. That's why you stay patient, Jim, because every time they got aggressive last year, there goes Reggie Wayne. There goes Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible to sack Peyton Manning on blitzes, and it's too high of a risk with the receiver that he has outside.
They're going to change ends. Indianapolis with 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Won by Denver, 28-20. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Through 3 quarters, Denver has run the ball. Henry with over 120 yards, although he's got a tender ankle at the moment. And Peyton Manning, we've seen it so many times before. He rushes for a touchdown and is thrown for 2 others. He has the ball to start the fourth quarter with Joseph Adai spinning out for another first down. 13 yards for Adai.
You just said that. Another day at the office for Peyton Manning and this offense. It's so diversified. They're so efficient. And that's what I noticed over the years. They're just getting better. They make fewer mistakes. Interceptions down, fumbles, almost impossible to sack the quarterback. They don't drop passes.
Adai adding to his total with another 7. He's now up to 135 yards on the game.
You know, Jim, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's his second 100-yard performance of the season, 2 out of 4, and he's a little shaken up too. This is
tough day for Indianapolis.
No kidding. We'll take a break here at the RCA Dome. Joseph Adai took a couple of hits. He's had a very busy day, shaken up, but walked off. Got more than half the total offense for the day. Second down and about 3 coming up for the Colts.
Oh, he caught Peyton Manning. They're coming up. Crowding the line. He's going to throw it deep.
And back to Clark. Right off the helmet. Ferguson was with him step for step.
Yeah, a little better matchup for the Denver Broncos that time. Here comes the blitz. Here they come, but Peyton Manning knew it. Got rid of the football quick. Made the audible. Underthrew the football maybe a yard, but Nick Ferguson, a much better matchup, at least able to run with Dallas Clark down the field.
So 3rd and 3. Got Champ Bailey over here now on Clark. Usually you'd see Marvin Harrison on that right side, but he's been out with that bruised knee. And back to Clark. They got past Bailey and get the catch down to the 26. Ferguson came over to help bring him down, but a 27-yard gain.
Now I got to tell you, I don't know what makes Peyton Manning audible and throw the ball out here. It's Champ Bailey. It's a zone coverage. Maybe he knows Champ Bailey will bite inside, which he did on the play action fake. Just enough room and another perfect throw to the outside. That's why you study. That's why you prepare. You watch films. And it was pre-planned in Peyton Manning's mind. If he sees a certain look, he was going to try to throw that pass to Dallas Clark.
Clark now 5 catches, including 2 touchdowns. It's Keith hurtling down to the 21 and a flag. Pointing at Jake Scott, the right guard.
Holding, offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Well, this is why there's a lot of, why do you play a patient defense? Because you're just trying not to. First off, Jake Scott, 73, right guard, pulling out. Pulls Alvin McKinley right to the ground. But you play this defense, you hope for a drop pass, a penalty like this to stop a Colts drive.
1st and 20. That's the first penalty of the game on the Indianapolis offense. Run a draw with Keith. Gets to the outside. Foxworth is blocked. They pick up the first down. That was Jeff Saturday and Tony Hugo running down the field. Brian Fletcher also.
Yeah, it's the old slow draw, delay draw. And look at the blocking. The Denver Broncos playing pass up the field.
Look at Tony Hugo.
Wow, well, he walked into our room on Friday. What'd we say? Man, you sure you're just not a big tight end? That's what kind of athlete he looks like.
Is he impressive? 2nd round pick out of Arkansas.
They hit some gold in that pick.
They did. It's Keith again. And down the line and right into Dumerville.
But you know, Jim, talk about the Colts offense. Here, Denver has done a lot of wonderful things on their offensive side to keep Peyton Manning off the field. And they haven't given up the big play, you know, that bomb that you see for touchdowns and all that. And look, it's 28-20, 11:50 something to go in the 4th quarter, and they're driving again. Even when you do a lot of things correctly against the Indianapolis Colts, it's not enough.
The 2nd and 9. Keith stopped about a yard shy of a first down.
What's that play reminiscent of? Championship game.
Joseph Adai.
Right up the middle.
For the winner.
It's a little new play that they've added to the arsenal of the Colts.
3rd and 1 coming up. That one good for 8 yards. Will he go up top?
How many going to address?
On left side this time, and he has Reggie Wayne for the touchdown.
How many quarterbacks, 3rd and 1, you're running the ball great, are allowed to check off and throw an outside pattern into the end zone? Well, it's Peyton Manning, it's Reggie Wayne, and they've done it so many times that they don't even second guess themselves. Just, there it is, you're going to give us that opportunity, we will take advantage of it.
Wouldn't be a Denver-Indianapolis game without Reggie Wayne scoring a touchdown.
Incredible.
15-point lead with the extra point. 5 trips into the red zone today for the Colts. 5 touchdowns. 3rd touchdown pass of the day for Manning. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms, with Indianapolis now leading 35-20. Vinatieri with a good boot, 6 yards deep. Not going to be returned by Hickson. Peyton and Reggie one more time. And we want to thank the MetLife Blimp for the aerial coverage. And a look down at the NCAA Hall of Champions. If you ever make your way here to the Circle City, that's a must. Go by and see all the history of the NCAA with kiosks and one shining moments and many other things to explore and enjoy. There's Travis Henry. He's got the helmet on, anxious to get back in, but does not get the call. from the coach. Selvin Young. Cutler in trouble, able to get away. Right on the towing the line now, launching it deep. Giordano defends it, knocks it down from Stokely.
Stokely got behind the defense. He saw Jay Cutler break out. Brandon Stokely, a little move. Oh, it's meant to go deep, and they've got it. But because he had to avoid the rush, it made Jay Cutler late with the throw, and Mom says, "Oh, come on, son."
His mother, Sandy.
Good recovery by the Colts defense.
2nd and 10. And Travis Henry is back. He gets the carry. And still running hard. Tender ankle and all. Brandon Marshall helped pinch the corner. And Henry picks up 12. It's up to 133 for the game.
Well, Jay Cutler just went down too. Stayed on a knee quite a long time. He's moving around well. Even after he hurt his ankle last week, he hands it off. Maybe the center stepped on his foot.
Henry, Keaho right there to meet him and a loss of a yard. 2nd down, 10. They give it to Young. And he is down 7 in the 4th quarter of that one. Chargers off to a horrible start. 3rd and 5. Big pressure. Pass is low. Sauerbrunn with the boot to Rushing. This is a beautiful kick. It hits it for 2 and all the way through the end zone. 65, but net of 45, and Manning will operate from the 20 with the big lead. From the 20. Dave all knew all this week. From Dave's hometown here, the Colts leading by 15. Peyton Manning. There's a chance to move past Phil Simms today in an important category, and that's low for Dallas Clark. Peyton all time as a starter has 95 wins. You know how Favre now is up to 151. He moved past Elway a couple of weeks ago. Most wins by a starter. Peyton comes in tied for 13th all time, 95 W's as a starter, tied with Phil Simms.
Is he? Well, you know, I would have had more, but the coaching held me back.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't my fault.
95 and 64 you were.
Wasn't good enough.
That's a good win percentage. Good enough a couple of seasons. Be wearing a little jewelry. 2nd and 10. 8.5 to go. And Keith Foxworth finally able to ride him down, but it goes for 13. He escaped Nate Webster.
Well, you know, it's a sign of a really good football team. They want to run it. It's a situation where you're trying to run the clock down. You're 2 scores up, and you get it done. Not only do you do it, you do it well.
They're saying now that Joe Adai has a bruised shoulder and very questionable he would return. Of course, we're inside 8 minutes to go. And Bob Sanders is a bruised rib. And also doubtful to see him the rest of the day. Manning over to Clark. And that's Foxworth on the coverage, but another first down.
Very few teams trying to run the clock out or just trying to eat up some time. Well, you crowd the line of scrimmage. They're so skilled at what they do. One-on-one, they're going to throw it out there. Peyton Manning winds up. Really good shot there of him winding up to throw the football. And over the years, a lot of people, his rookie year, he did not throw the football as well as people thought he would. But as the years have gone by, he's one of the better throwers in the league for sure. We know that.
That's Keith. And he's going to fall near a first. So you say the mechanics have changed since his first year?
They definitely have. I saw a big difference from his first year to his second year. His throwing motion. Watch his rookie year. How he goes straight up to throw the ball. And think about it. Where's the power going to come from except just going forward to throw it? Now, He's much better. We saw it in that last throw. He winds up. He turns his front shoulder back a little, doesn't go up near as much. That does two things. It propels the ball forward faster, and it makes it rotate more. And when that football rotates a lot, it stays on target. And he's gotten better every year at throwing with accuracy because of that.
Now there's an accurate one to Wayne for 9 more yards. That was some run to play before by Keith, falling for a first, and now 9 more to Reggie Wayne. The injuries today: bruised shoulder for Joseph Adai. Morris going out with a strained knee. And Harrison was that first play when he got hit from behind, and he's out with a bruised knee.
Yeah, some big injuries here in this game. Rob Morris, it didn't look good at all. Bob Sanders, Marvin Harrison, Joseph Adai, they could all be back next week. We're just not sure of the extent of the injuries.
Luke Lawton is the back behind Manning, and he gets the handle. And Luke gets a chorus of recognition. Luke picks up 4 and a first.
But you know, Jim, I want to go back to Peyton's throwing. You know, it's just, I'll never forget. I came down here the second year when all of a sudden they had that bad rookie year and they go 13-3, and I just couldn't believe the difference in him physically. His first year, he didn't control the football as he threw it. He threw some, you know, some knuckleballs every now and then. And I remember going inside their facility and I'm watching them going, my gosh, they don't look like the same team, and they didn't play like it either. They improved greatly, of course, from his first year to second year.
And Lawton again for 4 more. Tony Dungy over on that sideline, and to increase that impressive September record at home since he became the coach here. Going to be 18-2 if this holds up in September home games. In fact, as a team, you look at what Indianapolis has done since losing the opener on the road to New England back in 2004, and they could be on their way here today to 12 consecutive September wins, home or away.
Right now, Tony Dungy's going, and I'm glad I didn't retire.
And there is Keith near a first down. Their last home loss was the divisional game to Pittsburgh in the 05 season. The all-time NFL record for consecutive September wins, owned by Dallas.
That's incredible.
Remember that? How you used to always hear
Sure.
Dallas didn't lose on opening day and didn't lose in September. That took almost a 10-year run there. 21 September wins without a loss.
Well, the Colts, they have really got it going. The offense we know about. The defense is fast. They got a scheme that they, even if they have bad halves, which they did here, they're still explosive. They can make plays. They got speed. And Tony Dungy, when we talked to him, you know, he hinted that he might retire if they won the Super Bowl, but he did the right thing. He won the game. Had a big smile on his face, he said, for quite a while.
He stayed up late that night. He never did go to bed after the game with all the
I said
family and friends and excitement. And then he needed some time, though, to make that decision. Bill Polian said, take all the time you need.
Take all the time you want. But I thought one of the funniest things he said, he goes, that first night he did go to bed, I said, when you woke up, he goes, yeah, I woke up, and I said, I can't believe we've won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, all the misery, the work, and everything that goes into it, when you finally conquer it, it's a surreal feeling for sure.
Just less than a foot to go for the first. And they get it with Keith. So Tony has a Super Bowl ring, and he also has a #1 bestseller. His book, Quiet Strength, has climbed to #1. It's actually such a positive, look on life and all the principles that Tony espouses.
Like the way he coaches. He's does not yell ever. And his book, what they say, well, the book is about a lot of positive stuff.
Yeah.
And what is so much fun? Well, it'll never sell.
One local pundit said, no one will ever buy that. No one wants to hear anything positive.
Really? They don't, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Tony Dungy also found out as he went across the country for 9 days, there were a lot of Colt fans around the country.
Keith is getting some good work and ripping off some good runs. That goes for 4 more for Kenton Keith, who was a Rough Rider for Saskatchewan last year, 3 years in the Canadian League. He has 80 yards rushing today. He had a 1,000-yard season last year, but it wasn't in this league. Travis Henry can only look on. Daniel Graham as well. This date in history, September 30th, 1973, Johnny Unitas for San Diego became the first player to top 40,000 yards passing in a game against the Bengals. He established that. That was on this date 34 years ago. First to get to 40,000. And Peyton in that Colts record book, you know, doing the dance with Johnny U in so many ways. Of course, 40,000 after that has become something that we've seen a number of players move past. Peyton will have 40,000 come mid-season this year.
Johnny Unitas did it in an era where you could actually knock down and block the receivers at the line of scrimmage. Passing yards were hard to come by sometimes.
This drive has lasted more than 6 minutes now for the Colts. Just putting the game on ice. Luke Lawton carries the pile with him to about the 6. Jamie Winborn, the one that pushed him back. A timeout called by the Broncos, leaving them with 1. You recognize this guy right here? This guy actually was coaching in the Canadian Football League with Saskatchewan. I'm talking now back in the late 70s when he came down to Moorhead State trying to see if he could lure a rifle-armed quarterback with a bag full of money to come up and play in Canada.
Well, you're not supposed to talk about the money.
But you did.
Well, it was tempting. And I remembered, you know, of course, we have a lot of laughs. Every time I see him, I go, boy, you know, Mike, how much money was in that briefcase? And but all these years, he's had a great career as coaching in the NFL, too.
You didn't take any out of there, did you?
No, I didn't.
You just looked at it?
For some reason, I said, you know, I'll wait and see how this NFL thing goes.
Yeah, it's in Mike's count, there were a couple of thousand missing in the bag. You decide you're going to stay, wait for the NFL draft. That's when you were doing, was it going to be CFL or would I hold out for the NFL draft? And that you did.
I had a little history lesson for all y'all. I said he came down with a great CFL quarterback. His name was Ron Lancaster, and you didn't know it, but our producer Lance Barrow, he knew all about Ron. That was pretty impressive. You know, back in the old days, it kind of used to follow the CFL a little bit too because they were on TV.
Well,
no memory.
They're going to bring out Vinatieri for a field goal try.
That was some drive by the Colts. You know, you still have hope if you're the Broncos that you can get back and win the game or tie it up or whatever. And they just take the ball, drive it down the field, eat up 5:55 on the clock, and your chances of winning, that's it.
Vinatieri is 8 out of 9 on the season. He won the game last year when these two played. Hit the game winner out at Invesco from 37 yards at the gun. Just a 22-yard chippy for Vinatieri. And they're up 18. Colts on their way to 4-0. We already got Green Bay at 4-0. Cowboys 4-0. New England's undefeated, playing tomorrow night. Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, the other unbeaten, is down in the fourth quarter, down 7 to Arizona with about 5 minutes to play, and the Cardinals are driving. So we could lose one.
Some league. What's the NFL? You never know what to expect. You know, it's kind of amazing that the Colts and that the New England Patriots have separated themselves somewhat from the rest of the NFL in this era of free agency, salary cap, all the other stuff, and in tough games now, Jim, you're starting to see it in the college ranks. You just got to expect upsets and don't ever think you're going to know who's going to win. And look what the Colts have done here in the second half. My gosh.
Talking about some of those unbeatens, you're looking down the line, and we're just a couple of weeks away from New England at Dallas. And it could be a battle of unbeatens in that one. And then November the 4th, the AFC Championship rematch will be here for when the Patriots take on the Colts right here in this building.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Jim. 1 week at a time.
Boy, they got that one ingrained in your head, didn't they? Every coach, every day. Great tackle down the field. As Melvin Bullitt
You know, just watching the Colts, I meant to say it a few times today, their special teams, they have so much speed. That's because their defense, that's what it's about. They have so many young players, and they all have that quality they can run that shows in their special teams.
Over to Young, screen pass. Tremendous speed there out to the 32. Got another Colt player hobbling around a little bit. And there's a flag at the end of the play. Big Ed Johnson, the rookie defensive lineman, was thinking about going out, but shaking it off. Back to the defensive huddle.
Yeah, how about Ed Johnson? Free agent, Penn State, starting for the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah. Delay game, offense number 35 for throwing the ball out of bounds. 5-yard penalty will be assessed. It'll be first down, 10 yards to gain.
Something the NFL has really been a point of emphasis this year, and there have been a couple of occasions where perhaps the officials just didn't see it. I can think of a Welker catch, and
it's a good rule, though.
It is a good rule. It's being enforced. Cutler, Brock giving chase, and steps out right in front of Hayden. For fantasy purposes, Favre 344, 2-0. As the Packers remain undefeated. Romo with monster numbers as well. Look at Fargas. Fargas had over 100 yards in the fourth quarter. They lost. Jordan was shaken up in that game.
Wow.
The Fargas came in and had over 100 in just the fourth quarter alone.
Miami's run defense.
And Bo, this rookie that we saw at Chicago play against Chicago a couple of weeks ago.
Impressive.
He is. And they're up. The Chiefs now up 14 in that one. Sylvan Young goes out of bounds. He won't spank it this time. He's going to hand it to him. Yeah. And make a point of it. It's tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. From behind, Freeney decks Cutler, and the ball is out. Still out, and now recovered by Marlon Jackson. There is a flag.
A fumble.
Freeney coming in on the blind side, recovered by Indianapolis. 2-minute warning. This play was snapped on the north side of the 2-minute warning. Although it ended with 1:57 to go, it's not a booth review situation. It would have to be, if it wanted to be challenged as an incompletion, it'd have to come from Denver, but they can't challenge because they're out of timeouts.
It was a fumble, so I could see that in the replay. So it wasn't going to make a difference. And you look at this game today, Jim, it is really impressive what the Colts did, how methodical. And they just wear you down. And they wear you down on both sides of the ball. The offense just keeps methodically marching down the field, but their defense, it gains momentum. And even though they gave up 20 points, there were a lot of times I was very impressed with what they did to have fired up.
Marlon Jackson with 2 takeaways today. There's former referee Ron Bloom, now the line judge, and he's going to be retiring at the end of this season. He's a golf professional out in Northern California.
Yeah, he's challenged. He's challenged you many times to a golf game, but
Hey, listen, I know my limitations.
Okay,
you know that. No one sees my golf game. Back of the range in private. Couple of kneel downs, and they'll head to the locker room with another W. 11 straight at home. Another fast start to the season for the Colts. Big question will be the injury report at the end of this one. Cutler and the Broncos next week will host San Diego. The Chargers, with less than 4 minutes to go, are down a couple of touchdowns to Kansas City. We're about to have that AFC West with Kansas City, Denver, and Oakland all at 2-2, and the Chargers at 1-3 if that result holds up out in San Diego. That's it. Executive producer Sean McManus and Tony Petiti. I'm producer of today's game, coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Lance Barrow. Mike Arnold directed. Senior producer of CBS Sports and the NFL Today, Eric Mann. Director Bob Matina. Coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Harold Bryan. Our thanks to our associate directors, Corey Fishman, Andy Friedman. Broadcast associates, Alex Birchie, Mike Friedman. Technical manager is Pete Callander. Technical director, Jonas Einstein. Ed Soltis on audio. And all of our thanks to all the crew here. Jim Nance and Phil Simms saying so long from Indianapolis. Colts remain unbeaten. We're going to send it to